I guess we'll go through some other predictions. Here's the list that I had of all the other games. The Elder Scrolls 6, I think will come out next year. It's a big prediction. What do you think about that?
So I, for the life of me, I tried really hard to get into Skyrim, and I think it's a great game. I just didn't get hooked. So as a whole, I don't like follow the franchise that much as to when they were released and whatnot.
Did you buy it
Um,
on console?
so yeah, I had it on PC and console. One was a gift, otherwise I wouldn't have gotten them on both. But I, I wouldn't think that a new installment will come out this year, considering we just got sort of a remaster of the last one. That's kind of when they do that, they kind of use that as a way to fill a year.
Mm.
Like, hey, look, we had this year. It's a remaster of one of your favorite games. Not to say it can't happen,
Well,
but
I don't know. They did. Bethesda didn't have anything. Well, never mind. I take that back. Wait, Bethesda had Doom, right? They published Doom
Doom
first.
was last. Yeah, they had Doom and Fallout last.
Doom
No,
Doom was
Fallout was
published by Bethesda,
2015.
right? Yeah, they are.
Yeah,
Okay.
Doom was 16.
Doom
Okay,
was
yeah.
a great game last year, I have to say. So that was their game last year, and they also came out with Skyrim remastered. So two games in one year. That's big. But I don't know. The reason why I asked you if you had it on console is because the game looks so much better on PC, at
Oh
least
yeah.
in my opinion. Whenever I saw my friend playing it on the Xbox 360, I'm just like, these graphics look
Oh,
terrible.
they're
How are you
so
playing this
muddy.
game?
It
It
gets
looks like
laggy.
Oblivion, Elder Scrolls 4, and
My
I'm just
so
like, what are you doing?
my sister is a pretty good example of something that's kind of interesting. So to me and you, experienced gamers, it looked really kind of bad-ish in a way, looking back at it now. But she played the living crap out of that game. Even like last year, she was playing it, and I'm like, "How can you play this? It doesn't look that great and whatever." And she's like, "I don't mind. I had fun." So I don't
Yeah.
know. I guess it just appealed.
Most console gamers are like that, I think.
Yeah, and I think that's great. Like ability to look past visuals and just experience it for what it is. But for Christmas, I got her the remaster for PS4. It looks obviously better. You can have a few mod support and whatnot, and it looks a lot better, better lighting. So, and I was playing it with her, and she's like, I can't really tell the difference. I'm like, oh, that's good. I got you a gift that you can't tell the difference.
Wow.
So it's
There's
just
not
kind
a
of
big
fun. Like,
difference.
some people just don't
Yeah.
notice. There really isn't that big of a difference. Nothing groundbreaking, but yeah. As for a new game this year, I don't know.
I
You
think
know better than me.
if there is a new Elder Scrolls this year, it'll be the number one game of the year for sure. It'll I
That or
think
Zelda.
I think it'll outbeat anything that the Switch releases.
I think I think the media will lose their mind
Yeah.
over new 3D Mario and
Uh
Zelda.
I think
They
people
do every time. Look at Mario Galaxy 2, where it just swept the floor with
I
everything.
think
And
they'll lose their mind a little bit more over Elder Scrolls though. Just because it's been
we'll
like the
see.
number one RPG
I'll make a
at least
wager
on
with you at
PC.
some point. We'll
Yeah.
discuss that later. I think that's
Um
not gonna.
but we'll have to see on that. If
Yeah.
it does come out, it's either going to be called Valenwood or Hammerfell, in my opinion.
Are those
Just
the rumors? The rumor opinions? Or
yeah, they're rumors, but they're also there's
TikTok?
like a map of all of Tamriel, I think that's what the thing is called, and every game is named after a area, except Oblivion. Oblivion was in
Oh
Cyrodiil.
wow! You know
But
what that means then?
what?
Eventually, there's gonna be a game that's just gonna be massive and have all of them. I'm
I don't
predicting
think
that
so.
now.
I don't think so.
I'm predicting it now.
Um,
It's gonna happen.
But as you can see, I don't know if you can see this image too well. I guess I can open up higher. Over here is Hammerfell, which is a huge territory, and then Morrowind was over here, and then there's Elsewhere,
Morrowind was the
Valenwood.
original Xbox, right?
Yes,
Okay,
that was
so
the
I thought.
third installment, and Daggerfall was the second one, which is up here on this little island, and then the first one, I guess, was this little island, or I don't know. No one's ever played the first two Elder Scrolls games, so not sure about that. But I think it's gonna be Hammerfell or Valenwood. That seems likely. Um, but yeah, let's go back to this list. Borderlands 3 could come out this year. You say no, right?
Um, I'd say no because I can't remember what article I was reading, but he said we're not quite there yet. But from what I've heard, a lot of promising things about it. A lot bigger worlds. It's not just go here, do missions, which are really fun and whatnot, but it's gonna be Skyrim-esque and
If it's
how wide it is.
similar to Borderlands 2 or Borderlands the pre-sequel, I think it'll be a huge hit. It's one of the best co-op shooters,
Oh
I
yeah,
think, of all time.
uh, little bit of a fun fact: the first Borderlands, when it came out, that was my first experience playing online games, like
Hmm.
with like just online in general, and I love that game. The humor, it's so funny and just like it's dark humor, but it's
Yeah.
funny. Like it's I God,
Did
I
you play
could
the
quote
first
so many
one
things.
or the second one?
Yeah, I played all of them. I played the pre-sequel, the original, and two.
I don't know. For some reason, for me, I didn't like the first one. I thought the quests
Oh,
were a little
it's
bit too repetitive.
yeah, it's super dated compared to the other ones, but I think it was just that's just a
Yeah.
case of nostalgia for me.
Well, I got it like on launch, and for some reason,
Oh, okay.
I didn't get into it. But
Oh, a
I gave
shame.
Borderlands. I mean, I thought I hate this game. I hate Borderlands because the quests were really. I don't know. The whole world was a little bit. I don't know, a little bit dry, like desert. And
Yeah.
I played it solo. That's probably the reason why I didn't like it as much.
Oh yeah.
Um, but
Every
then
friend you add to the max of four, it just multiplies the fun. It really does. For anyone who hasn't played Borderlands, make sure you have a buddy. It'll multiply
I
the joy
think
a lot.
Borderlands 2 was a little bit more. I don't know how to say it, but a little bit more exciting for solo players as well as co-op players.
Yeah.
Uh,
I think a lot of that had to do with the story. Like Handsome Jack was so engaging
mhm.
with you as you went along, so it was kind of fun to hear like
And there was also some like unique characters.
Tiny Tina, she's a
The
memorable one.
There was that one character that had like a robot companion. I liked her. Uh,
Oh, for the classes. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I played as the Berserker. I loved him a lot. The axe wielding guy, the psycho. He
In
was fun.
For some reason, like I guess it's just a personal opinion, but whenever you're playing alone in a game like that and you have a companion, I think it adds a lot to the game
Oh
itself.
yeah, like that game and games like Diablo and whatnot. I love companions, like a little minion that only you can summon that helps you fight and stuff. That's just so cool.
Yeah.
I've always loved that. That's always been one of my favorite things to do.
I don't know if it's gonna come out this year. I don't know. I give it like I have like a 50-50 chance on
I
Borderlands
think
3 coming out this
I
year.
think it's a combination of they're just not ready, and there's so much already coming out this year that it's gonna have a
Maybe.
lot of
Mhm.
competition. So it might be like an early next year kind of game.
So the
I
next
could see.
game, Destiny 2. Was there a trailer for Destiny 2?
I don't think any sort of official trailers have come out yet for it.
No.
I think you'll just find a lot of speculation stuff. Yeah.
But
Um,
everyone seems to say that it's going to come out next year.
yeah.
Um,
So
what is
Destiny's gone through a lot of interesting things that would take a long time to discuss. But originally their plan was to sort of have installments every 2 years, like the Destiny 1 to Destiny 2. Uh, they changed that plan a little bit. Destiny 1 just got expansions after expansions, really good ones too, but they've changed. Destiny has evolved so much since it came out. Originally, it was just all about the playing online with your friends and whatnot, and people were disappointed that the story kind of got discarded for that. They've
Yeah,
tried to
there was like
remedy it.
no story. I remember that. The
Yeah,
story was so vague and
so
I
to
don't
this
know.
day, we've done nothing with the Traveler, that giant ball that sits over the city. That's
Mhm.
you could do so much cool stuff with that story wise, but they've done nothing, and it's just baffling.
I think that's one of the
Um,
problems I had. Like, it's made by Bungie, and I think a lot of people, when it was first announced, they thought like, "Oh, it's gonna be an action like Halo game with a great story, and it's gonna be like you're gonna be traveling through space, all these different like planets, and saving the world from all these enemies, just like Halo is."
exactly. Yeah.
But it turned out to be
It
not
just
like
quests,
that. Yeah,
nonstop grinding and
it's more
quests.
like an MMO, along
So
with
I
that other
actually,
game. What was that other game that came out that's like Destiny?
um, I don't know.
You know what I'm talking about though? Oh man.
I feel like I do, but it's nothing's clicking right now as to what's coming to mind. I
So
know
what were
that.
you saying? I cut you off. Sorry. I'll,
What was I
I'll
gonna say?
remember this.
I will just say, combat wise, it's very similar to like Borderlands. I don't know if you got that same vibe if you ever played
It is, yes,
Destiny, which is fine because it's a solid like the
but
animation for reloading your
it lacks
pistols.
the
It's almost the
humor.
exact same as in Borderlands. Like just little things like that, but it's not like they copy it or anything. It's
Yeah,
just
it
inspiration.
lacks the characters and the story and
Yes.
the humor. So it just feels dry to me. I don't know.
So Destiny 2 is actually probably very close, even though they haven't released anything, because I think they just released the last expansion for Destiny 1, the Rise of Iron, I think it is. That's the last major expansion we're getting for the first Destiny. I haven't bought it because I kind of got off the Destiny train. I got kind of tired of paying $30 for expansions that, to me, didn't. it didn't add anything. It just made you have to grind for more stuff, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I
Because there's like a
understand.
meta
Everyone
of
says it's
equipment
a super
in that
grindy
game.
game. The boss
Yeah,
fights are cool, but it's so grindy.
there's a meta in terms of like competitive weapons and gear that you need, and literally that's all the expansions did. They raised the meta. They added, I mean, the expansions added a lot of things. I don't want to discredit the hard work they put into the expansions, but in terms of multiplayer, which is what the game's focused on, it felt lackluster to me. So I kind of moved on.
So I just pulled up The Division because that's what I was trying to think of. That game is very
Oh,
similar
right.
to Destiny,
My
in my
friends play that
opinion.
all the time, and they keep wanting me to get it and join them, and I
Yeah. It has
keep
the
passing it up.
same basic format where you're supposed to play it with like two to three friends, four players, and you
Yeah,
go through missions, and it's very grindy. I played the beta of it. I didn't get into it, so I just ignored that.
I
A lot of
I
people
don't
like it
know. I
though.
like this game was another one that kind of went through development hell. Not that bad though. It was announced back in like 2014 or something like that, and it took a little bit longer than most expected. And I think by the time it came out, the hype kind of quieted down a little bit. Also, I think they had some problems with the end game early on. Like there wasn't a lot
Yeah,
to do once you kind of hit the max level. They've since fixed that. So my friends tell me.
they had a lot of
Um,
problems with hackers or something too,
Yeah, it was
glitches.
a lot of things. But since then, they've recouped. They've put a lot of effort into rebuilding the community, and from what I can tell, they've done a good job. But yeah,
I guess while we're talking about Destiny and Bungie, I guess I'll just quickly mention Halo Wars 2 comes out
can't wait,
this year.
can't wait. Oh, I love
You're
Halo
into Halo
Wars.
Wars. I played the
I love
beta.
the
Did you
first
play the
game.
beta of Halo Wars 2?
I did not. I'm actually currently in the
Um,
process of building a new computer, so I'm going to dive into Halo Wars 2 for sure. Like that gets done.
well, I
But
think it's a isn't it is it not an Xbox exclusive
so it's Xbox One and PC
and
only.
PC? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I played the beta on the Xbox One and it had so many problems. It took me like
Yeah.
half an hour just to get into the game. And then once I
Oh
started
wow.
playing the beta, it didn't feel right to me. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like it's gonna be a disappointment. The trailer looks amazing, by the way. Like the cutscenes
I
are gonna,
loved it. It's
yeah.
so beautiful. The cutscenes in Halo Wars
I
1
think
2 were pretty
I
good.
think the campaign will be fun and all, but I don't know. There's just something about the multiplayer in the beta that I feel like is going to be very off to most people. And it may just be because I'm a fan of RTS games like StarCraft and Command and Conquer and everything. I did enjoy the first Halo Wars, but I didn't think it was like super great or anything.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
The first game was definitely lacking in content. There wasn't like a huge variety, you know. It was
also,
12 different units.
something that's worrisome to me is Halo Wars 2 is being developed by Creative Assembly, I believe, and they're the same people who made the Total War series. So it's a completely different studio.
The first one, Ensemble, got closed down, so uh they got closed down shortly after the first game was released, so they had to find a new one.
And
So yeah.
yeah, one thing I'm worried about is Creative Assembly is known to release games too early with a lot of glitches, a
Okay.
lot of bugs, and a lot of problems. But they eventually get evened out. So I don't know. We'll have to see if
I
it's going to be
think
good or not. It's already been delayed once. It was supposed to
uh,
come out last year, so I don't
see,
know.
I think that's a good thing because I think now that this game it's right under Microsoft's thumb because this is Halo. They're not
Mhm.
going to allow for a half-assed game to be released. I would hope, you know. So
If it's
delays are a good
good,
sign.
if it's
That's
super
probably
good,
means that
I'll get it.
yeah.
But I don't know. Right now, I'm just like, I don't know if I want it or not. I'm a huge Halo fan. I bought like every Halo game in the past, but I'm just the
um,
beta turned me off so much. The
so
problems I had.
I love RTS games too, but I love them. I'm not a competitive RTS player. Like I don't
Me
go online
neither.
and like I don't try to like kick someone's ass on any given
Yeah,
day.
rush them with
I play
dessert.
the story because they're usually fun, like fun, innocent stories that have good cutscenes and stuff. RTS games, and usually me and my friends will just do like a 2v2 or something and just kind of bullshit like only this unit, just have it like mass fights and just madness and fun. So if they can come across as a well polished, well made game, then I think they should be okay.
And also, a lot of people predicted that Halo 3 Anniversary would come out this year since it's the 10th year anniversary.
Oh yeah.
But there's been some news that I think this guy, this picture of this guy, I don't know who he is. He basically said, Frankie, I guess he's a developer. I don't know who works at 343. But he basically says that the Halo 3 Anniversary is not happening. And I think that's mainly because the Halo Master Chief Edition, Master Chief Collection was quite a failure to many.
Oh yeah,
And I think they lost a lot of money on making that.
that's a
Um,
shame too, because Halo 3 is a masterpiece.
yeah. And I
The
don't
the
know.
theme,
I
the
don't know.
guitar theme for Halo 3, I can't remember what the name of it is, but it's amazing. It's like dun, 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 dun,
Yeah.
like oh my god, like such beautiful
Ba-ba-ba-boom,
music.
ba-ba-ba-boom, ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-boom.
Yeah, it's so epic. It's
Mhm.
like one of the most epic pieces of music ever made, and that's a shame. I'd like to see a Halo 3 remaster.
Halo 3 was probably my favorite Halo campaign. Um, and I don't know, it's probably my most played multiplayer game ever. I loved Halo 3. Uh, I even went to tournaments and stuff, which is cool. But I don't know, it's kind of sad that if it's not happening. But one thing I will say though, if it's not coming out this year, I'm kind of wondering if they have like a spin-off Halo game in the works for this year. Because otherwise, if Halo Wars 2 was supposed to come out last year, what was supposed to come out this year? There like has to be a Halo game. Like most people buy Xboxes just for Halo. So I'm kind of curious. And another thing, the Scorpio, whatever the heck that is coming out next year as well, which is supposed to be like a high-end PC console.
Yeah. We'll hold off on the Scorpio just for a second because that's gonna probably go into a different topic.
Yeah.
But as for the new Halo game, that spinoff, I could see it happening. I also could see it not happening purely for the fact that Halo Reach, not Reach, ODST wasn't a huge success, and that was a spinoff game.
True, but Reach was a success.
But was Reach really a spin-off though?
It was
You
a
could argue. You could argue
prequel
that's
or something
it,
of the sort.
prequels. Whatever you want. Like
Master
you could call it
Chief
an
wasn't
origin
in
story.
it.
He was technically in it.
At
There
the
was that
end.
one
At
scene.
the very
There was
end.
there was that scene where he's floating in that room. So, in the pod, right? He's still in his pod. It's before.
Uh, I forgot.
Yeah, I think it takes
Been
place
a while.
right before Halo 1. So yeah. I don't know. I'd say the chances are mediocre at best.
I will say though, a lot of people loved Reach. I wasn't a huge fan of Reach. I was really hoping for Halo 4 when Reach came out.
Yeah, Halo 4
because
was
it took many years between Halo 3 and Reach for a game to come out, and I was just like, I really need a game.
I have to ask you. Do you think that main Halo series should have ended after 3? Because that one was touted as the end of the fight and stuff.
Yeah, a lot of people say it should have ended because it's like a trilogy. I would say no, just because I love Halo. I don't want it to keep going
Yeah.
forever. Um,
Uh,
but I don't know. With 343 Studios, they introduced the Prometheans, and I don't know. Fighting Prometheans all the time, it's
I
not
wasn't a
that
huge fan
fun
of-
compared to the Brutes and the Elites and the everything back then. There's also that other game. I should mention that real quick. I forgot what it was called. Like it was like a Russian Halo game.
Interesting.
Hold on, I forgot what it was called. Halo Online or something like that. Was it called Halo Online? Yeah, I think it was called Halo Online, and it was released only in Russia. And it was basically like a Halo 3 multiplayer game with all new maps, but it was free to play. But you could
Was
only
this
play
official?
it in, yeah.
Like official? Oh wow.
I'll just I should get some video or something. Halo Online. It was basically like Halo 3 maps, but it looked way different. I don't know if you can see this on your screen, but the models look different, but the gameplay was very similar, and there was very similar maps. And a lot of people changed their location, like using like a VPN to Russia so that they could play it. I never played it, but it was kind of like a mix between Halo 3 and Halo 4. But it was supposed to be like a free-to-play game, so I don't know, very different. But it never came out. It was more of a test. It was more like just testing it in Russia to see if people liked it or not. But it probably got
What an
canceled.
interesting testing ground, Russia, of
Yeah.
all places.
It probably got canceled by now, but it was just interesting, and it brought back a lot of like nostalgic feelings. I'm like, oh my god, Halo 3's coming back. I want to play it again.
I can't even imagine what the discussion is in the conference rooms. Like, hey, we need to test this obscure spin-off thing. Where do you think we should test this? Oh, let's put it right in the motherland, you know?
I think they were like, I don't know. I think they were like, well, we can make a free-to-play Halo game, and it could be a huge success, but
Yeah.
we don't know if it's going to be a success here or not. So let's test it way out in the middle of nowhere where no one can see it. I don't know.
Yeah,
No one
that's
can talk
interesting.
about it. But yeah, this is all the new game, and it's played on Halo 3 maps. You can tell that it's different. The armors are different. The ridicules, everything is like a little bit different, but it's on Halo 3 maps,
Oh, I
so
love the
very
Roadhog.
very strange.
Roadhog's my favorite Halo vehicle of all time.
Hmm.
Little fun fact. It's an iconic, classic. If I could own a Warhog, oh my
That'd
god.
be awesome.
I don't even need the turret on the top. I just want the ride
Everything
itself.
looks so different. I mean, the maps look exactly the same, but everything else, I don't know. But that's something else. I guess we should move on to the Scorpio and the PS4 Pro.
Yeah.
Um, so, what do you think about the PS4 Pro? Let's start out with that.
First of all, I think it's good that you don't need one to play PS4 games moving forward. It's just if you value 4K resolution, if you want a little bit of buff to your games, because I've seen the comparisons. It's nothing major, but it's something noticeable for eagle-eyed people that they'll notice. Same with the Scorpio. I can't speak for how Xbox is currently and how they're doing things, but I'd imagine they're doing things similarly, that they view there's a market for people who want a little bit more and are willing to pay for a little bit more, and that's kind of what it appeals to. Um, yeah. Also, I
I,
think this brings.
I th-
Go for it. Go for it. Go for it.
oh, well, I think there's something, I don't know. The PS4 Pro, I think they marketed it like way wrong. They marketed it towards people, and then again, this is crashing again. Sorry about that. But anyways, they marketed it towards people who had 4K TVs. It was all about 4K TVs, HDR, I think that's what they called it. And it was just like 4K, 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 and no one has a 4K TV. And they didn't talk about any of the other benefits of having an upgraded console, like having higher FPS on like 1080p resolution or having higher graphical settings in normal games. And I think they failed to push that note. And I don't know. I don't know. For some reason, I think the PS4 Pro was kind of a failure. Not a whole lot of people adopted it. You didn't get it, right?
Nope.
So, and my friend has a PS4. He's a huge Sony fan, and he didn't get it. And I was questioning him, like, why didn't you just sell your or PS4 for like $250 at the time, and then pay another $100 extra to get a PS4 Pro? For $100, it doesn't seem like that big of a deal. But he wouldn't get it, and it's mainly just because there's not a whole lot of games that support the PS4 Pro currently, and he doesn't have a 4K TV, and they kept pushing this 4K TV nonsense, and I don't think people are going to be adopting 4K TVs anytime soon.
Speaking
Um,
of 4K, there's 8K now. Just a little fun fact. I was reading an
I,
article today. It's kind of ridiculous.
I mean, personally, I have like the best graphics card available, or almost the best, a GTX 1080, and I chose to get a 1440p monitor, not a 4K monitor, because even with that graphics card, if you're not upscaling the resolution and you have all the settings on max, it has trouble outputting at 60 FPS on 4K. So I was just thinking, like, why would I even
Yeah.
want to do that if I'm not going to be getting like the absolute max, like performance wise?
To the average like gamer slash movie watcher, 1080p is almost the best the eye can
Yeah.
notice. 4K, you will notice a difference, but it's very minute. So before you buy any TV, to anyone thinking of buying a 4K TV, go see one yourself, because you might be one of the people who don't notice a huge difference.
I should also
If you,
mention, or you keep going.
if you do view it to be valuable, go for it. 4K is actually, I was looking at the prices for the TVs, and they're actually pretty low. You can get a 40-inch 4K TV for $300, which is not that terrible, you know. So
I
just
should
do your
mention,
research, see if you like it.
as a PC gamer who like recently upgraded last year to a higher end monitor, I chose to get a 1440p monitor, and the resolution difference between 1440p and 1080p is very minimal. You can tell barely, but it's very minimal. But the change between 1440p and 4K is even smaller. So I don't know.
Yeah.
If you're planning on getting a new monitor, I would suggest getting a 1440p just because it requires less performance on your system to play high end games. Also, I decided to get a 144 hertz monitor, which means I can play games at like over 100 FPS. And I will say, like, for a fact, that the difference between 60 FPS and like 120 FPS is worth more to me than resolution. So
Yeah.
if you have
Also,
to downgrade from like 60 FPS to 30 FPS to play at 4K, that's not worth it at all.
yeah. Also, it's important for anyone who's using computers for photography or anything like that. It's important to look at the color range for the monitor. It's not always
Definitely.
about the resolution and whatnot. To make sure that monitor supports
And
everything
response
that a
time.
professional photographer or a video maker would need, because that sometimes that is the bigger difference than the resolution, the color, and how it's represented properly in photos. So just make sure you kind of see them for yourselves, either at like a friend's house or the store. Just examine them and make sure it's for
And
you.
I also should say for PC gaming or any type of gaming, you also want a high refresh rate on the monitor, or
Yeah, you don't want
not
ghosting.
not a refresh rate, a response time, like very
Oh yeah,
minimal response time, and that prevents ghosting and stuff. Because like you can watch TV on a 4K TV just fine, but once you play games on it, you could have some issues. But back to the Scorpio, there's going to be a difference. Phil Spencer has basically said that the Scorpio is supposed to be like a high-end console. So I think it's going to cost more. I'm thinking it's going to cost more like 500, maybe even higher than 500. I don't know, but
does that come with the Connect or no? Are they done with the
I
Connect?
think they're
They,
done
they're
with
trying to sweep that under the
they
rug.
scrapped the Connect a long time
Okay.
ago.
Yeah, I
um,
didn't know. I had no idea.
I don't even think they sell Connects in the stores anymore. I don't remember.
Wow.
But I think they're trying to, like, the PS4 Pro was like a minor upgrade, and they saw that not very many people like jumped onto the minor upgrade. Like, why buy another $400 system if it's not going to be like a huge upgrade? And the
I'm worried.
Scorpio, I think, is going to be a big upgrade, but I'm not sure
I'm
though.
I'm worried that these two companies might do what Apple does with their phones, and I can't confirm this. I'm not as someone in the industry, but when a new Apple iPhone comes out, people with the old generation start to notice that their phone starts to kind of mess up and feel like it's old. I don't know if that's the updates they do to make it appear that way, to make you want to buy a new one. I hope they don't do that with
Yeah.
these ones. I could see that happening where they're like, "Oh, let's just kind of forget to fix a few bugs in the old versions to, maybe entice someone to get a new." I don't think they'll do that. I don't think they're backhanded, dirty companies or anything. So
You
let's
know,
hope that's not the case.
I kind of think it would be more beneficial for Xbox to just release like a Xbox One 2 instead of this Scorpio nonsense. Just release like a new console and put Halo 6 on it and make it look amazing. And I think that would push consoles
Yeah,
out.
that's another thing. I think this is going to sort of end the generational like PS3, PS4, PS5. I think now it's just going to be this model. Like it's
PS4 Pro, PS4 Super Pro,
yeah,
PS4 Ultra
exactly. I
Pro.
mean, like they'll probably eventually be a PS5, but I can see these mid-generational upgrades being a normal thing if it proves to be profitable to them. Because at the end of the day, these people they do what they
I,
do for
I don't know
profits.
if it'll be profitable or not. I know a lot of people, especially people who have PS4s now, they don't they don't want to buy a whole new console if they already have one. And I think it's gonna be the same with the Scorpio. If the Scorpio plays the same exact games, there's not gonna be a lot of people thinking like, "Oh, I should go out and buy this
Exactly,
because
I
I already
agree.
have an
Um,
Xbox One. There's no reason to get another one."
I I think it all depends on how much it costs them to make, because I feel like it doesn't probably cost them that much to add a few little extra power to it or anything. So maybe it's a minimal cost, maybe decent gain for them kind of thing, but it
Yeah.
might change up the landscape based on that, which is crazy to think.
All right, so this little podcast is probably going on for way too long, but let's quickly go through a few other things, just so it doesn't go on forever.
Yeah,
Let's see. So, do you think Valve is going to release anything this year?
I
Any type of
think
games?
that first of all, we will not get Half-Life 3. I'm
Half-Life
sorry.
3.
It's
Half-Life
the
3
legend, the
confirmed.
myth, the
2017.
everything,
I'm
the
calling
meme.
it.
It, if Half-Life 3 gets released this
I
year,
know Gabe
consider
Newell. He has me on
cons-
speed dial, and he told me.
right, right. The internet will shut down. It will be overwhelmed with posts on everyone's
It'll
comment
be
on
the
any video ever made.
it,
Half-Life 3 confirmed. It's just gonna be
it would be the
madness.
biggest game ever.